Welcome, partners and colleagues from across the globe. My name is Andrew Nelson, and I'm a partner manager in Gurtam's Boston office, working with our wonderful partners across the United States and Canada, and I look forward to meeting many of you from our vibrant Wialon Partners community in the future. Today, I'll be presenting our fourth quarter 2020 updates and new features for Wialon Hosting, Wialon Mobile, Nimbus, Fleetrun, Logistics, and Hecterra. It is important to note that I will not be covering every single update from the fourth quarter, but instead will highlight only the key updates. First, we'll start with the Wialon hosting updates, including our new video module. On December 31st, 2020, Adobe stopped distributing and updating Flash Player, which affected the live stream feature of MDVRs integrated with Wialon. So we developed a new video module and added it to Wialon's interface. For the tab to become available, it needs to be activated through the corresponding service in the account or billing plan settings. The new module works with MDVRs directly without using intermediary RTMP servers on the client's or manufacturer's side. Also, you don't have to configure various commands in other settings because streams start automatically upon activating the unit on the Video tab. You can then set the cameras here in the Video tab of Unit Properties. On the Video tab in the main interface, you will see all MDVRs that support live streams. There is a button to stop or play a live stream, and you can also make the stream full screen if you'd like. We anticipate that this new video module will see significant enhancements in the coming year. Next, we added two new blocks on the Dashboard tab: Top Units by Fuel Consumption and Top Units by Mileage. The first block displays units from the Monitoring tab with the maximum fuel consumption by FLS for the specified period. The second block displays units from the Monitoring tab with the maximum mileage for the specified period. The blocks will help analyze this data without the need to build reports alongside the already available option to view the mileage and fuel data by each individual unit. Previously, the dashboard opened automatically if there were more than 100 units in the work list. That was not always convenient, especially with a large number of units on the map. So the dashboard is now placed as a separate tab in the top menu and no longer opens automatically. The Monitoring tab remains in the same place. The data in the dashboard is displayed only for the units that have been added to the work list. You can also drag and drop the blocks in the dashboard to wherever you would like. Next, we released an enhancement for counters. Now, the relative sensors values, relative odometer, and relative engine hours can be used from the previous message. This means that if the mileage and/or engine hours counter is set to a relative sensor, then the values from the previous message can be used in the parameters. Next, we added a geofences filter in the Images table. This new feature will come in handy when the user needs to download photos for a specific period by each client, if the client is marked on the map as a geofence. For example, if a company provides services and demands completed work proof via sending a photo, each employee has a tablet with WeAttack installed. The worker sends the before and after work photos with it, and to look through these photos conveniently, you can now generate a group report applying geofence and unit filters. The next update is improved search results in the Access tab. Previously, a user could only search by the unit name. In summer 2020, we significantly increased the number of search criteria, but the data looked a bit chaotic as it was unsorted. Now we have a drop-down list with new search criteria. The final Wialon hosting update we will cover relates to sensor properties. Previously, all sensor properties were displayed in an additional dialog, and it took a user a long time to find the necessary properties. Now we've changed the general view of the list. First, we adjusted the order of displaying fields. Second, the window displays only those properties in which you can enter data right away. The fields in the object and report properties that appear upon activating other settings have been removed from the interface. Now let's take a look at these updates in Wialon. Okay, so we're here in Wialon. You see the new video tab listed here in the top menu. You have to make sure when you customize the menu, the video tab is also enabled. And you must have the video monitoring service enabled in the billing plan or account properties. So if we go to video, we have a couple sample units here. All of your units that are capable of live streaming to Wialon will show here. You can search or alphabetize. This tells you how many channels. And you can also have the option for a full screen, and over here, stop or play. So if we see here, this driver does not want to be seen. On the other channel, you can see he's facing forward on a break, obviously. And if you want to go full screen, you can go just like that. Just hit escape to exit the full screen. Stop the feed. And also in the units, you can go, if you want to rename the cameras and how they appear, you go to the video tab and it'll tell you camera number 1, and then you can name it however you wish, front or side or whatever you'd like. So that's our new video module. Okay, so we're here in the Wialon dashboard. You can see how the dashboard is now a completely separate tab on the top menu bar. We have the 2 new blocks that were added, top units by fuel consumption and top units by mileage. You can adjust what blocks you see in the dashboard by coming over to the 3 dots over here and selecting the various metrics that you'd like to see. You can also drag and drop the blocks and rearrange them however you wish. If we go to reports and create a new table, an images table, if you go to the settings of the images table, you will now see the new filtration by geofence. Next, we have improved search results in the Access tab. So if I pick a unit, go to the unit properties and the Access, you'll see the new drop-down menu with name, creator, and account. If I go to a user and click on the user properties in the Access tab, you'll see we have units, unit groups, users, and resources. Finally, if we go take a look at the new sensor update, we come over to sensors and the unit properties. If I create a new sensor, you'll see, like for instance with the validator, there's no validator selected. So the additional option is not shown. If I click on battery, you'll see the validation type now shows up. So we got rid of the unnecessary property if you weren't using it. If you do a fuel level sensor, you will see that a number of settings are relocated. So now you have the general settings, filling settings, and theft settings. You can hide or expand as needed. So it makes it a bit more orderly in terms of all the settings being shown. So that's it for the Wialon hosting updates. Next, we have an update for the Wialon Mobile app. When using the locator function for a unit, you can now specify a custom interval for the locator link. First, select your unit from the monitoring tab. Then, long tap the unit, which will bring up a new menu. Select Share Location, and then select Custom. The format is in hours and minutes, and once you select your custom interval, you can then copy or share the link via your preferred method, and you will see the custom time period in the top right corner of the screen. We're now in the Wialon mobile app, and on the monitoring tab, you can see a list of the available units in our demo account. So I'll select a unit. Let's use this Lexus. When I long tap the Lexus, you'll see the menu pop up. We have the share location option. I'll select that. And now we have the different validity periods. So custom is the new period. And I'm going to select custom, and I can select whatever I want. The first column is hours, second is minutes. We'll do 4 hours and 7 minutes. I'll hit done. And now this is an iPhone. These are the options I have to share the link. I can copy it or open it in Safari. I'll open it in Safari. And the locator link has now been generated. And at the top right-hand corner of the screen, you'll see that 4 hours and 7 minutes and the location on the screen. Next, we have a major Nimbus update. Online 2.0 is the operation mode of Nimbus with a new tracking module, which allows you to expand the boundaries of the application. In addition to the standard features of Nimbus, the new functions in Online 2.0 allow you to configure the automatic assignment of units to rides and to create circular routes. The new algorithm of the Online 2.0 tracking module also allows you to execute the rides of routes with intersections correctly. To activate the Online 2.0 module, open the administration page and select the necessary depot if there are several available. On the Depot Settings tab, activate the switch of the Online 2.0 mode. In the field called When Visiting a Stop, indicate the number of minutes the system should start taking into account messages from the units associated with the route before any of them visits the first stop on the schedule, and click Save. The automatic assignment of units to rides is a new feature in Online 2.0, after the activation of which the units associated with the route are assigned to the rides automatically as soon as they visit the first stop of the route according to the schedule. To configure the automatic assignment, go to the Routes page and select the required route. On the Units tab, select the units which should be associated with the route from the list of available units. You should select more than one unit. Enable the Assign Units Automatically option and click Save. If the automatic assignment of units is enabled for a route, the units associated with the route are assigned to the rides automatically instead of the units indicated in the schedules. If the unit indicated in the schedule visits the first stop earlier than the associated one, the former is assigned to the route. It is not recommended to associate the same units with the routes which have the same first stops. A circular route is a route in which the first stop corresponds to the last one, but has another time of visiting indicated in the schedule. In Online 2.0, you can make a route circular in two ways. When creating a route using the Circular Route option, click on the Create Route button on the Routes page. Select filtering by the type of transport in the lower part of the window. Move the required stops from the left list to the right one. Enable the Circular Route option and click Continue. Fill in the route number field and click Save. When the Circular Route option is enabled, an additional stop that duplicates the first one appears at the end of the right list. You cannot move this stop, and it changes automatically when you change the first stop in the list. It is required to indicate the time of visiting the first and the last stops in the schedule of a circular route. It is recommended to indicate the time of visiting intermediate stops as well. The second option to create a circular route, when editing a route using the loop action, select the required route on the Routes page. Select the loop action in the Edit menu of the first stop. Click Save. You can also loop a route on the map. To do this, click on the first stop of the route on the map and select the loop action. Here, you can see the first stop is the same as the last stop. To unloop a circular route, click on the Edit icon of its first stop or click on the stop on the map and select the unloop action. Please keep in mind, it is required to indicate the time of visiting the first and the last stops in the schedule of a circular route. It is recommended to indicate the time of visiting intermediate stops as well. The automatic assignment of units is not available for circular routes in the Online 2.0 mode. Finally, a route with intersections is a route the line of which intersects or partially overlaps itself. In the new Online 2.0 algorithm, the time of receiving messages from units is compared with the time of visiting every stop indicated in the schedule. The algorithm allows you to execute the rides of such routes correctly and avoids visiting the last stop ahead of schedule and finishing the ride prematurely. For the algorithm to work, it is required to indicate the time of visiting all the stops in the schedules of such a route. Let's take a look at these updates in Nimbus. We're here in Nimbus on the dashboard. As you can see, we already have Online 2.0 activated for this demo account. If you didn't have it activated, you could come here in the top right-hand corner, select Administration, and then Depot Settings, and you'll see the Online 2.0 option, which you would simply activate. You can also adjust the setting for when visiting a stop, as I mentioned earlier. We come to routes, the automatic assignment of units to rides. We'll click on a route here, and we'll come over to units. We'll see a list of all the units we have available, and you'll see the assign units automatically option. As long as that's selected, you can pick whatever units you want. Click Save, and they're automatically assigned. As I mentioned earlier, if the automatic assignment of units is enabled for a route, the units associated with the route are assigned to the rides automatically instead of the units indicated in the schedules. And if the unit indicated in the schedule visits the first stop earlier than the associated one, the former is assigned to the route. So let's take a look at the circular route options. If we want, we can create a route. We already have some stops in here, so I'll just put a few on. And then all you have to do is come down here and click the circular route option, and you'll see the first stop is now also the last stop. When we hit continue, you'll see the stops. You just have to fill out the route number, add the schedules, and click save. Another option that you can do, if you come to a route already established here, we can come to the edit of the first stop and just simply select loop. First stop becomes the last stop. You can also come back in the menu and unloop. The other option is to visit the first stop on the map directly. Select that first stop and simply select loop. Finally, let's take a look at a route with intersections. So we already have one established here. So a route with intersections is basically the route, the line of which intersects or partially overlaps itself. As you can see here, the route overlaps alongside the same street. And so now in this new algorithm, the time of receiving the messages from the units is compared with the time of visiting every stop indicated in the schedule. So this allows you to execute the rides of such routes correctly and avoids visiting the last stop ahead of schedule and finishing the ride prematurely. Of course, for this algorithm to work, it is required to indicate the time of visiting all the stops in the schedule of such a route. So those were the Online 2.0 updates for Nimbus. Fleetrun had several improvements during the fourth quarter. First, we'll start with line items and reports. You can now create a detailed cost report by executing a report by fleet or unit line items. The user will see the labor cost, spare parts name, type, number, cost, etc. With this information, your client will now have the opportunity to analyze, for example, which parts or services are most in demand in the fleet. They can then reduce fleet servicing costs and plan future costs according to these reports. These reports can also be structured by new groupings, by line item type, or by service, which will help analyze costs in more detail. Next, you can now create fuel fillings directly in Fleetrun, which will help your client see detailed fuel expenses as well as the location of the gas station. The creation and editing of fuel fillings works similarly to the creation and editing of services. Mistakenly added fuel fillings can also be easily deleted. On this new fuel fillings page, you'll see the list of all fuel fillings in the fleet. Now you can create, edit, and view the list of fuel fillings not only on the Fuel Fillings tab, but also on the unit page as well. This functionality will help you to manage your fleets in one place. For example, create services and fuel fillings for a particular unit with no need to navigate between tabs in the main menu. You can also delete fuel fillings. So if you created a fuel filling by mistake or indicated incorrect data, you'll be able to delete the fuel filling. Further, you can also indicate the location of where your unit had a filling. This functionality is needed in order to make the fuel filling data complete. Also, a new fuel tab is available in the line items library. You can add the most frequently used fuel types. There are preset options, or you can add a fuel type manually. Finally, you can select the fuel unit of measurement, liters or gallons, in the administration panel via the Fleet Settings tab. Other Fleetrun improvements include an increase in the custom field limit to a maximum of 20 values. When deleting service objects from the fleet, the user will now see a warning message that the service object is assigned to intervals and/or services. This new option will prevent users from accidentally deleting units assigned to intervals and/or services. Finally, changes were made to the way costs are shown in reports. Thousands are now separated by a space, and decimals will be rounded until the last digit is 0. So let's take a look at these changes in Fleetrun. So we're here in Fleetrun on the dashboard. We take a look at reports. We have the new report types by fleet line items and by unit line items. We select one of those two, we have the new groupings by line item type, or by service. We execute a report. We have this grouped by service. You'll see a lot of results here. You expand, get more detail, as well as detail about the line item. You can obviously add or subtract columns as you wish over here on this menu. Now we have the new Fuel Fillings tab. We have an existing fuel filling here. If you click on it, you'll see the data, unit driver, fuel type, cost, quantity, total cost. You can add a description if you'd like, and as well as the location of the filling station. It's very easy to do as well. If you want to create one, you add all that information. You can even attach a file, such as a receipt. So we can also create, edit, and view the list of fuel fillings not only on that Fuel Fillings tab, but also on the unit page as well. As you can see here, it's the tab. We have a filling here. You can also create a filling. It's very easy. On here, you'll also see the location, which is a key feature of this new update. And the fuel filling can be easily deleted by just hovering over here at the right-hand side. In the line items library, there's a fuel tab, and we have some preset information here, but you can add a preset if you'd like, fuel type and the cost per gallon. We go into the administration settings. Under fleet settings, you can choose if you want liters or gallons. And while we're here, we have the custom fields. In the list expansion now, you can have up to 20 values in the list. Also, in service objects, if you try to delete a service object of the fleet, you'll get this warning, and so that you know if the selected service object has already been assigned to an interval or service, to make sure you really want to delete that service object. Finally, changes were made to the way the costs were shown in reports. So if we go into a report, at the bottom here, you can see thousands are separated by a space. If I look at a different, let's see, by fleet, we'll go overdue, execute, and you'll see the mileages here and how 29,439, you'll see the space there between the 1,000. So those are the changes for Fleetrun. Let's take a look at a few logistics updates. First, you'll notice some subtle interface changes, including updated icons and color scheme, and the interface now adapts to the size of a web page, which makes it more user-friendly and makes it easier if you're managing routes on a tablet, for example. Custom fields are now only able to be added in the app's settings. Once they're created in settings, the user gets all related functionalities, and the custom fields will be available in the order creation dialog, orders table, import table, reports, and they can even be available in the mobile version. The custom fields can be reordered and turned on or off individually for the mobile app. Next, the custom fields are available in the Order Import tab. They can be added both to the template and directly to the Import tab. This option makes it possible to conveniently and quickly import orders with all the necessary information. Further, custom fields are now available in all 4 types of reports. You'll know it's a custom field when you see the column preceded by the number sign. Finally, the mobile app for Android was redesigned for a cleaner look and to also show additional information than the previous version. Now, if we take a look at logistics, we come here to the settings and you'll see the custom fields tab. We already have some set up here, but they can be easily reordered if we'd like. If you want to move type of order up or type of packaging down, you just drag and click. Over here, you have the option for the mobile application. Turn them on. They have to be done individually. One doesn't turn on all custom fields. So go through each one that you want and turn it on so it's available on the mobile application. They can also be deleted one by one. Now on the import orders, if you're doing an import of an Excel file, you can actually add any of the custom fields. You'll see down at the bottom here, the custom fields that are available. We'll add special conditions, and now it's here for the import. This makes it possible to conveniently and quickly import orders with all the necessary information. Also, the custom fields are available now in all 4 types of reports. So if you do a report and execute the custom fields, you'll see all the custom fields available at the top, and they'll be preceded by a number sign. As you see in this report, I scroll over, I see the custom fields, invoice, type of order, type of packaging, type of cargo. Finally, we have an exciting update for Hecterra. We don't normally cover Hecterra in these quarterly updates, as the app was rarely used in our region. This was primarily because Hecterra didn't accommodate for US measurements. Well, that has now changed. When you go into the Hecterra settings and select Resource, you will see the option to use US measurements: acres, feet, miles, gallons, and pounds. Hopefully, some of our American partners will now explore Hecterra's unique features for their agriculture-focused customers. And if we come into Hecterra, we start out at the dashboard. In the top right corner, we select Settings, and then select Resource. In the bottom right, you'll see the measurement system, where you can then select US. It'll show acres, miles, feet, gallons, and pounds, and then select Save. So that's it for the fourth quarter 2020 updates. Thank you all so much for your time and also for being valued members of our global Wialon community. We appreciate every single one of you, and we are thankful to have so many incredible partners worldwide. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me directly at a.nelson@gurtam.com. Thanks again, stay safe, and see you soon.